Alright, so we are going to edit. This is how I do groom photos. So basically, I'll also go through how I shoot. So I shoot very simply. What I will do is I will this marking here. You can set your camera to have this, and I'll always center my subject. I'll have the guys stand together. You notice I'm shooting at 50 millimeters, but on a 24-70. So I'll get a wide shot like this, and I'll frame them just in the center. Even margins. More headroom than foot room, but like my eye line is like right around here, so sometimes the eye line will be through there, or split the difference between the two people in the image. And that's pretty much it. Sometimes in post they'll come and frame it and then align it to vertical lines in the background, but that's pretty much it. I'll put my preset on it that is incredibly warm. Bring out some of that skin tone. Alright, and there we have it. So that is how I shoot my groom with his guys. So I will do, this is what I would call like a wide portrait, and then I'll zoom in a little bit and I'll get a tighter portrait, and that is essentially this photo. And then I will do a landscape tight. So this is the photo that like I imagine like they'd frame or something, you know. And then you could also like cut it down there, cut it a little bit lower, and so I'll bring down the eye line there. But again, I want my margins even on each side. I'm framing them pretty much like in this center box. So boom, that's essentially how I do that. I'll do the same for each individual groomsman. So I'll get their wide portrait, tight portrait, and then a tight landscape. So there's a height differential here, but again, I'm choosing a very clean background. This is a nice line heading this way. This one's a little bit different because he's so short. But again, on this one, wide. This is a medium portrait, and then landscape portrait. And I'll do that for the girls, do that for the guys. And yep, so here's the girl's image here. And again, in post, I will like reframe this if I throw it off in camera. But I'm essentially doing that. Same thing here. This one seemed like I locked it pretty good, but I'm using this camera grid in camera, you know, so my photo is centered, and I'll center my subjects all the time. I'm not doing anything crazy left or right composition wise, so it's just like that. Let's go back a few. These are all edited. Alright, then we will do, okay, so bride prep. I'm finding a nice spot for the dress. I'm centering it, I'm shooting it super clean, a couple different variations, but clean. Same thing with the rings. I shoot it pretty simple. Groom prep, I'm clearing out the room. I'm making sure there's no clutter. The images are simple. Same thing with bride prep. Like the bed is clean. There's no bottles. There's no nothing. Just keeping it super simple. 3 colors in an image. There's no other reds, greens. You know, I'm keeping it nice and clean. Same thing with bride prep. This is the first look. Let's go to family photos. Oh, okay. Let's do group shots. So group shots, I think you do a really nice job with group shots. I'm not too concerned about it. But I'll do like, you know, casual poses. Get some tighter stuff. Again, I like your group stuff. I'll do this walking shot usually with them. I like the staggered look as well. These walking shots I like. And I'll keep it like pretty tight too, like just focusing on the groom. I wish this wasn't here. Doing the same thing for the sign. As far as framing, you know, nice margins. Then punching in. It's like that tighter portrait shot, and then wider landscape. So it's the same format as when I'm working with the guys. Details, pretty straightforward. So again, there's no equipment, no bags, no boxes. There's no staff walking through the photos. There's not even fire escapes or fire extinguishers, exit signs, nothing like that. I'll frame everything so that the images are super clean, like you could put a shot in a magazine where it looks staged. The reason I do this is, you know, these vendors are putting in all this time and all this effort. They want photos that they can use to advertise with. So that's really my thought process when going in. It's just like I'm eliminating everything that's a distraction or that takes away from the image. And I'll shoot details pretty thoroughly. Here's an exit sign, but we can easily crop that out. I'll shoot the place settings, the table cards. I'll shoot it in a few different ways. Again, room shot. Like, I didn't just get lucky. There were people walking through. There were boxes. There was bags. There was our equipment. All that stuff had to be eliminated. I would tell people, hey, I got to get a shot. Please don't walk through the shot. And I grabbed this. I think a lot of times, like, photographers will just like capture this, and there'll be like people like walking in the background. There'll be exit signs or whatever. And I just kind of think it's lazy. Like, it's just as easy to get a clean shot. Same thing here. You know, these are just covering some details. Cocktail hour I'll cover pretty thoroughly. It's just details. Cocktail hour. We had a little bit of time at this wedding, so it started getting pretty warm on these edits. Oh my goodness. For the ceremony, people coming down the aisle. See, this framing I like better. This one's a little jacked up. Just keeping it simple. I'm gonna go back and color these photos. So brutal. Yeah, I'm not doing anything special, just real simple. I'm shooting between like 50 and 70 most of the time. Again, the groom's reaction, but I'm on a 24-70 literally all day long. For the ceremony, I will switch or have two cameras, and one will have a 200 millimeter. But again, this is all 24-70, and I like to move around. I like to get some wide shots. I like to get some parent reactions. This is again 24-70. I like to get the groom reaction. I'll bounce around each side. And I want to thoroughly cover something. You know, I feel like it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. They're gonna have these photos forever, and I don't take that lightly. So it's like I wanna get everything I can for them. So I'm going through. That's a funny one. But I'm trying to get, look at different angles, moving all around. So I'll bounce around, and then I'll get a tight shot of the rings, and then I will get usually a tight shot of the kiss. Looks like I went wide for this one, 24. Then to a 50, then to 70. And then walking down the aisle, it's like 50 millimeter, and I'll just follow them up. But again, this is everything you do. Group shots, usually staggered them out. Again, you do all this stuff. And then I'll have them walk towards the camera. I don't go wide when they start walking towards the camera in hopes to get everybody. I'll in fact zoom in and just focus on the bride and groom. And we just got a lot of portraits. Family photos. Family photos, I'll do the whole family. Again, I'm eyeline, margins, and then I'll leave a decent amount of headroom. You could technically bring that into the eyeline there. I mean, you know how to do family photos. I don't really need to walk you through this, but for this, I'll do the father again, and then I'll do the tighter portrait, and then again tight landscape. So that's 70 millimeter. Then I'll do wide portrait, medium portrait, have them look at each other, and then tight landscape. This is unfortunate. I would never want people in the background of my photos for something like this, but hey, that happens. So again, I'll do that with each of the parents. Same format. This is the mother. Boom, boom, and boom. Oops. Alright, so that's that. Portraits. Again, I'm 50 millimeter most of the day, 2470. Some more portraits. Make sure to cover speech as well. I like to get some tight shots over speaking, and I like to shoot it thoroughly, so like to get some good expressions, get some crowd shots. I like to get some wider shots to get the full experience. And then same thing with parent dances. I like to get in pretty close, capture the expressions of the people. I like to get the faces. A lot of times you'll see the back of people's heads because they're not waiting for the person to fully turn. And then again too, I'm shooting into a background, which is like people versus like here kind of forced to shoot into like an empty background. But don't shoot into a DJ booth. I feel like that never looks good. I don't know if I have an example of it here, but it never looks good shooting into a DJ booth. And dancing photos, I like to get up close and personal. Again, 2470 is your best friend. See, this is kind of shooting into the DJ booth. You start to see speakers and things like that. I tend to stay away from that kind of thing. So there you have it, man. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, going back to bride prep, I will start with the dress. I'll do rings and invitations. In the meantime, she's getting her hair and makeup done. And then when she's done hair and makeup, I'll go and ask for like a few posed fake shots of them doing hair and makeup. These are just kind of threw together. This was done pretty quickly. And her room wasn't that great. So like I'll have her go and fake a couple hair and makeup shots. In this case, her makeup artist left. So I just had her put on some lipstick in the mirror. Lighting was pretty tough in here, so I just used window light. But again, there's no water bottles, there's no backpacks like books or anything. It's just clean, clean, clean. I'll shoot tight. And same thing with his. Like, I'll clean up the bed, clean up the room, and I'll just get these really clean shots. Same thing in here. Just try to keep it clean. Yeah, alright man, hopefully this is helpful.